So we need to touch on something real quick before we move to the Acolyte, and that's the Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
So even though I own an Xbox, you own a PlayStation, we are both very much Nintendo households as well.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I remember both mornings when we got a PS2 and when we got an SNES.
Absolutely.
Not on the same day. No. Obviously not on the same day.
No one had that kind of money back
decades
then.
apart.
Yeah.
But they were both such incredible special moments. And the SNES is still one of the best systems that I think has ever existed, period, the end. Because it wasn't beholden to graphics or anything else. It knew what it was, and it was exceptionally good at being that.
Yeah. Which Nintendo, most of their consoles, they stick to that pretty much. Kind of, that you could use that as the tagline for the DS when it was going against the PSP. It's like it couldn't deal with it graphically, but it knows what it is, and it was an RPG machine.
And it's going to be great at that.
Oh, absolutely. And the Switch, which I got to tell you, everyone was curious what was going to happen this Direct because they're like, this year, it's already been said by Nintendo, this is the swan song for the Switch, because within the next 9 or 10 months there will be the unveiling of the next system. This Direct was baller.
It was good.
Holy crap. Some of the games that are coming out on this, starts with the I was never a massive Mario and Luigi RPG fan. That first game with Mario and Luigi Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. It looked good.
It looks fine.
I like the animation style.
Yeah.
I thought that looked kind of neat.
Interesting how we don't care that the Mario world continues to decide what powers Mario has.
Oh, yeah.
And we just don't care.
We just don't care.
We just don't care. I think because they've been doing that since the beginning.
Yeah.
They never established firm rules.
No.
Mushrooms make you grow. And that's about it.
And that's the one thing I like about Nintendo, too. They're like, fuck it. He does it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. He has a backpack that squirts water.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if he never had it. This is what he does now.
He has a hat that possesses people because fuck you.
I love it.
That's what we're doing.
Exactly. I think we got to talk about the thing I've been dying to talk
Zelda.
about. That's The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Zelda finally gets to take the reins of her own namesake.
I love not only this art style, because I have played the remake of Link's Awakening, and this art style is beautiful, and I love it. You're right. The fact that you could not only play as Zelda, finally, after fucking 40 years, but that they even mentioned the fact that we don't want her to just have a sword.
Yeah, we wanted this to be different.
Dude, and it somebody had brought this up online. It is very much reminiscent of not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, where you can make anything you wanted. And here, she can duplicate anything, and including bad guys to fight for her. I'm like, that's so fucking awesome.
It opens up so many possibilities for puzzles and
Yes.
for exploration and for just everything. Because suddenly you can do all kinds of things that you couldn't have done in Link's Awakening or in Link to the Past or in what's the other one? Link Between Worlds.
And that's the thing. At first, when you first saw that trailer, I was like, is this a remake of A Link Between Worlds? That was my first thought. And even though it isn't, I love that fucking game. It's one of my favorite Zelda games ever. And I got a lot of vibes from this.
Yeah.
Of that game.
It feels like a natural progression from that.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact that it takes place on that same map, people have started doing breakdowns to be like, yeah, it's that map, guys. It's that map.
And what I'm looking forward to is this Zelda in the next Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Using her ability to duplicate the person she's fighting to fight against them, and that just blew my mind. Right there, I was like, I'm not even a good fighting game fan, but I still have fun with that game. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
That opens up whatever the next Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild is. Zelda is a playable character, because here we have her as a character. We have a set of, she's always had magical abilities. She has a staff now. Do this.
That was always the complaint before the game actually dropped proper in our house was... But the clear progression from Breath of the Wild is to allow you to play as Zelda.
Yes.
And anybody who has played Tears of the Kingdom knows pretty quickly why you don't play as Zelda in that game. But it does feel like I'm missing a hanging chad. If you will,
absolutely.
Of just this should be done. The Zelda CDI games should not be the only time where you can play as Zelda. And so the fact that this is finally being filled in as a pothole in Nintendo's history is very good to see. I don't even think it feels like some of the because they also had stuff like Four Swords and other things
Yeah.
on this Direct. It doesn't even feel like one of those Game Boy Zelda games. This feels like a mainline Zelda game.
This is mainline.
Yeah.
Because it if you watch that trailer, the trees that usually block you, she can climb on top and run across now.
Mm-hmm.
So it is more of that open world Breath of the Wild feel where like, okay, I'm not beholden to just go in certain directions.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I love. A Link to the Past is one of my favorite games ever. But there are those points where you're like, God damn it, I just want to be able to go through
Let me go. Let me get here.
Yeah, and you're running into those invisible walls. But here it's like, yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah.
As long as you can create it, you can climb over fucking anything. It's like, that is awesome.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's still going to be limitations because there's always limitations.
Yeah,
there's always a ceiling somewhere. The fourth wall still exists somewhere in that game. So.
And I gotta say, I do appreciate also where, some games and movies, and we're talking about it with TV shows and stuff, where you used to have this guy, the man that was the hero, and now the woman takes over, which is totally cool, but they usually make the guy look dumb, like Thor.
Yeah.
Here, Link still did something heroic before he got trapped.
He gave himself up.
He gave himself up by saving her, but then it's her job to save him, and I'm like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, it isn't Link's adventure, but we're not turning him into Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
We're not turning him into this bumbling guy that she has to save. It's like, no, he still did something heroic, but now it is her time to shine, and it's like, that's fucking awesome.
And I do agree with you. I'm glad that she doesn't have a sword and shield and that they moved specifically away from that. I do kind of hope that it does feel like a Zelda game in that, like, you get equipment and stuff. It doesn't seem like
I would
that.
assume so.
It seems like instead of equipment, you're going to get new things to copy.
Yeah.
And so instead of getting a bow and arrow, you're going to get this. And instead of doing this, you're going to get a stool and whatever. That's fine. I do like that about Zelda games. I'm not necessarily in the minority, but like I like having the big screen of equipment that you have to go through and find the right
Which
thing.
I'm assuming they're going to do something. They have to, because like you're saying, it's regardless if you're changing which character's the hero of the game, you still got to follow
exactly
some tenets of the game.
Even Breath of the Wild, you can switch between swords and arrows.
Yeah.
Or swords and spears, or swords.
And like even if they pull like a Final Fantasy and they just give her different magical abilities.
Exactly.
So like she can mimic things, but then she also has like fireballs.
Can shoot fireballs, can shoot ice beams, can do this, do this. Yeah. No, I agree.
that would be nice.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
And then the banger. I mean, first off, folks, we just don't have time to go over every game in this Direct. I love Metroid Prime. Mm-hmm. And the Metroid Prime remake that came out last year was spectacular. Like, I haven't played that game since the GameCube. Actually, that's a lie. I had the trilogy on the Wii. They cleaned it up, and it was one of the best games last year that I had played. And this game looks fucking awesome. It looks like Halo.
Yeah,
but
it
with
looks
Metroid.
a lot like Halo.
Yeah.
No, it looks great.
And I can't, I think somebody said it was 7 years. I believe it was 7 or 8 years ago that it was announced. Mm-hmm. And then there was the infamous, I think it was 2 years ago, at one of the Directs, they said, we had to go in a different direction because it just wasn't coming together. Mm-hmm. And they gave it back to the original team that did Metroid Prime. And yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful. 2025, it says. I do believe this will be a Breath of the Wild-ish game where it'll branch between systems.
Yeah.
Where it'll be like, all right, you're going to get the Switch system one, but you're going to get the Switch 2, like, up-resed 4K, like, nice version of it.
Yeah.
But I
really wonder if that's what the new Switch is going to be. Is it just going to be the Switch, but with a better processor and better graphics?
See, I think they're going to up the horsepower. I don't know if they're going to... I hope they don't crush the 4K thing, because in playing modern games, I'll play a 1080p game, I'll play a 4K game. It's not that big a deal. Mm-hmm. And for me, I think the thing that I loved about Nintendo is they were always like, the game, and like you look at this Direct, somebody had put it great. The difference between this and like Xbox's Direct was amazing. The games look incredible. You have no idea when you're going to play these games.
Yeah.
Nintendo shows you all these great games, and it's like, this is when you're playing these fucking games.
Yeah, this is when they're going to be released.
Exactly. And most of them are like within a few months.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Like freaking Zelda September.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. It's like, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That's
it's right around the
September
corner.
26th?
Yeah.
And my kid's going to be in school, and I don't get to play it first. But it's like, that's what I love about Nintendo. It's like they don't sweat kind of facing off against Sony and Xbox, even though if you consider them part of this generation, which I do, they've wiped the floor with both of them. they're more like, hey, we want just good fucking games. The one time they really tried to force their way into that was the Wii U, when their automatic kickoff was just their version of like Batman Arkham City, or not was it Arkham City?
Asylum.
No, because it was the second one.
It was the second one? So
Yeah,
that's Arkham City.
Like re-armored or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like, nobody gave a shit. It's like, we don't want that. We want the Zelda game.
Yeah.
That would have run on the Wii U, but it's on the Switch, and we'll take it on Switch too because it'll be fun.
Going back to what we were saying before about knowing what it is and doing that very, very well. It's like watching an AP student just crush their classes, but decide that they really wanted to get buff. And so they stopped being good at their classes so that they could get buff.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, but like, dude, you were more fun to hang out with when you were good at your classes and not buff.
Yeah.
So like, I think just do what you're good at, man. Stop trying to be someone you're not.
And you're buff and you're shallow.
Yeah.
Like, I'll use Senua's Sacrifice, the second one that came out on Xbox. It's like 6 hours long. Mm-hmm. It is the most boring gameplay. It's 90% cinematics. It is the most beautiful fucking video game I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. But it's so hollow and shallow, and it doesn't... It's not a game.
Sounds like Starfield. Sounds like fucking No Man's Sky. These games that everybody was like, oh, ooh. And then they start playing them, like, where are the chips?
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's like, just, I hope Nintendo, and I think they will, especially with the success of the Switch, don't do I mean, I loved my Wii U. Proper branding, come out with a good name for it.
Yes.
Have banger titles to launch. Like, I'm hoping they are smart and they launch it Mario Kart 9.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
I mean, they sold 60 million copies of Mario Kart 8.
I still say you can keep the Mario Kart name if you want to, but I still say you could go to Nintendo Kart or Smash Kart and just incorporate a shit ton of Nintendo characters, and that's really the only difference.
I think they're going to do it while still... I mean, they kind of did it with the 8 having Link and...
the Splatoon kids.
Yeah, I think they'll keep the Mario Kart name just because of branding. But
I still think Smash Kart gets the best of both worlds.
See, I don't know how they're going to top Smash Ultimate and Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, those are as close to perfect video games as you can get because of how well they run and the unbelievable amount of content in them.
The only thing left to do is to take the peanut butter and take the chocolate and pour them together.
That is true.
Smash Kart. Make it happen, Nintendo.
Which, I know I'm not alone with this, especially on the internet, but if you do Double Dash 2.
Double Dash.
Because I love Double Dash.
Double Dash is great.
Do that.
Yeah.
And then you could have Mario with Sonic on the back of the car or something like fun like that. Master Chief driving with Snake on the back.
Yeah.
Dude.
Have the 9 million Fire Emblem characters that you're going to jam in there.
Driving I love Fire Emblem, but fucking stop.
Driving with Sephiroth for reasons unknown to man. Did you know that Lance Bass counts himself as the first Sephiroth? Which he technically is.
Yeah, you're right.
Technically, he is.
Which
sucks. One more reason why Kingdom Hearts is awful, people. Stop liking it.
Yeah, but I do have that soft spot for Lance Bass after the end of Tropic Thunder. Lance? Did you just say Lance?